I'm Vince Spezio. I'm the president of Mid-Atlantic Mechanical in New Jersey. It is the most recent addition to our shop. I actually saw it the first time at the ASHRAE show, and I saw the team from Mestek up there, and they indicated that was a piece that was going to be available in the future, and they told me we could get the first actual produced combination machine that would install the corners as well as close the Pittsburgh. We're very happy with it. We're very happy. So far it's been a big space saver versus having the separate machines that have the corner and the seam closure. It's definitely a lot better to have just the one machine. It gives us more room for ductwork. As soon as it's assembled, it's going out and it's made and out the door. So it gives us, and one man is actually operating that machine in lieu of two. So it's a big labor saver. Time-wise, the Pittsburgh seamer seems to be as quick, at least as the standalone machine, and the corners are maybe even quicker. So there really is not any part of this machine that's slower than the standalone machines, and it does eliminate a step. So it is a good, it has a good payback associated with it, I'll put it that way.
Great machine. This eliminates everything. You just stick it in there, the sensors pick it up, it puts two corners in and does the Pittsburgh in one shot. You can't beat it.
We've been in business for 37 years, and we've been making sheet metal for close to 30 of them. And we've always had a short coil line, what I call is the starter coil line. It takes it out. We used to make bare duct only, and it used to come off with raw ends, and we had to put on duct mate flanges ourselves. It was a dream to buy a machine, the full coil line that did line duct work, full wrap, and then the integral TDF or slip and drive transverse connector. So we had a good year, and the economy was down, and the federal government had a tax rebate program available. So it became something I wanted to research quickly because the opportunity and tax season was coming up. So we brought in a couple of vendors to compare the different machines. And as I interviewed the different coil line manufacturers and we started looking at the layouts of the machines and how they operated and compared them to each other, I had a meeting with Mike Bailey, and I was surprised that it was much narrower than the competition. And the light bulbs started going off and the bells started going off in my head, and I said, wow, let's go out and take some measurements in my shop. And we found out that we had only 18 and a half feet or so wide to fit the coil line, and he went back to the guys at Mestek, and they came back with a coil line that fit in my shop. So we were able to shoehorn this coil line into a facility that no one else could possibly put what I call just a off-the-shelf coil line into. This definitely was a custom machine that, ironically, when we talked to the competition, we found that the more we customized other manufacturers' machines, the more expensive they got. Versus when Mestek got involved, they said, well, the tables are shorter, we're going to charge you less for those. The machine is narrower, we're going to charge you less for that. They said, well, you don't need as many cradles as the normal machine. We're going to take that off as well. So as the competitors' prices were going up, Mestek's prices were coming down. So initially we thought that we weren't going to be able to afford the coil line that we have now, and at the end of the day, the prices were very comparable, and it worked out very well for us. So very happy, obviously, that we went the way we did.
A little benefit of having it American made, huh?
Absolutely, exactly, and that was a big part of our decision-making process. We knew we were spending a lot of money, and it was something that we, were very, adamant about. The coil line makes me money in ways that I did not expect. I really thought that the coil line was going to improve our productivity on the sheet metal fabrication end of the equation only. A little bit interesting in that respect as well. I do not manufacture sheet metal for anybody else. I don't sell sheet metal. I'm a mechanical contractor, and as a mechanical contractor, we do the entire piping and units and the controls and the sheet metal component as well. So we fabricate our own tin. but I never thought I'd get that kind of payback from the machine because I don't do that much sheet metal. My capacity prior to getting this coil line was only about 5,000 pounds a week I was able to put out of the shop, and that was, you know, a problem for me doing large jobs. Even though we would go to shift work and we work at night, we'd get whatever done. We would do it ourselves. I haven't subbed out any sheet metal in 30 years. So we do, and we do about $30 million a year in business. So it's a fair amount of sheet metal. But by getting this coil line, we increased our capacity from about 250,000 pounds a year to 1.3 million pounds a year. It went up from 5,000 pounds a week to 5,000 pounds a day. So we basically 5 times the capacity of the shop with that coil line, and it increased our flow in a way that we didn't expect as well, in that the sheet metal was getting to the job quicker and piling up on the jobs quicker, and our field crews were installing it quicker. By doing that and having the straight duct on the job taken care of, we were able to focus on our fitting fabrication, and that's when we got into buying the Cornermatic machine. And that process and that flow, the way we focused, by not having the straight duct to worry about anymore, we really focused on the flow of the fittings in our shop, and that has doubled as far as our productivity goes in the fabrication of fittings. So I didn't expect to get any of those benefits. I mean, everybody just says, what are the hours that I have to fabricate the straight duct and how much quicker can I do it? They don't take into account that your field is going to go faster, and it's going to give you time to focus on other areas of your manufacturing to improve those as well, and that's what happened to us. So it really was a win-win-win, you know, as far as that goes. I'm very happy with that. We've always put them in where we had a steel table, and you'd either put the fitting up on the table or the piece of the ducts or whatever if they were smaller, and you'd have the guys pull the corners up, beat them into place, and then bend over the TDF flange, you know, to keep the corners in. The end product certainly, even though it was functional, it wasn't very attractive a lot of times. So certain guys were very accurate with their hammers and were able to hit it 2 or 3 times and to achieve the look that you want, while other guys hit it 8 to 10 times. And that is an interesting thing, because as you started counting some of these corners and how many strikes it takes with a hammer to set these corners, it's more than you would imagine. In fact, I think we checked it out with a couple of guys, and the average was more than 10. It was between 10 and 15 every time, where how many times that hammer had to move, and you count that for, you know, typical fitting or a duct where you have 8 corners, you know, 4 on each side, and you're swinging the hammer almost 10 times per corner. You have 80 strikes per piece of duct, and you take into account you're putting out maybe 70 fittings a day in our little shop, and you know, that was a lot of strikes that were going on. This, when they had it set up with a table and the whole process and the way the machine is able to insert the corners quickly into each fitting, and the ability to handle acute angles is a big thing for us with the 90s and the transitions that you make. The old corner cadets, I don't think we're able to handle those acute angles. Now there are some limitations. If you get to a very sharp angle on an S-tap or something like that, you may have to have a corner that you have to manually insert still, but 95% of the corners that we insert are able to be inserted by this machine. And again, you're doing them 1 corner at a time with the fittings, but you're like I say, you're saving 10 strikes on every one of those, and at the end of the day, the guys are really moving just about as quickly as they were the first thing in the morning. So it's really a safety issue, as we discussed before, as far as material handling. The guys are fresher, they're moving through the days better, and quality is a big deal. And I do emphasize that I want my products going out to look at the right with the right look, and I don't want them all beat up, you know, with hammer strikes all over them. So the Cornermatic machine really puts out a quality looking corner, and I'm proud of that. And that's, you know, again, as a union contractor, a lot of our customers feel they're paying a premium, and for that I want them to see a quality product. So that's what we do emphasize that. the coil line, the Cornermatic, the combo machine, they have all contributed to us improving our quality tremendously, all throughout the process. The product that we put out of our shop now is drastically better than it was before when we have so many manual processes associated with the fabrication.